Hey everyone. So today I wanted to give you an update on my experience with the Paper Republic journals. I have been using them for 3 months now, and I think that that's enough time to really have a good sense for what works and what doesn't work for me. And I thought that I would share that experience. I know that people are so interested in these journals. Obviously, they're gorgeous, and everything that we see online is just beautiful and just completely mesmerizing. But also, they're very expensive. So I just thought it would be helpful to share my experience with them, what works for me, and um, maybe that will help you figure out if that's something that you want to invest in. So, how did this journey start? About 3 months ago, I was getting to a point where like I was traveling from desk to desk and from room to room in my house with just this like massive stack of journals because, I have a day job, a full-time job. I work from home and then take notes for that. And then I have a Substack where I write about books and my reading life. And I was finding myself like kind of like expanding the set of notebooks that I was keeping for the Substack. And then on top of that, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and I'm just trying to kind of coexist in an organized way with other people in my household. So I was, carrying around a notebook and a planner for that. And at some point, I just kind of looked at my desk and I was like, this is just out of control. It was very difficult to manage all of those notebooks. And at the same time, I was also finding myself needing to go into an office once or twice a week and trying to wrangle all of those notebooks in my work bag. So it was just getting a little bit too much. And as I was experiencing all of that, I was also watching everybody's videos on Paper Republic, on the Paper Republic journaling system. And I thought, well, let me give it a try. So I was so unsure that it was going to work for me that I just bought my first journal and I didn't even have it engraved, even though that's a very affordable service that they offer. But I thought, I don't want to have my name or initials put on this because I was very kind of like open to the possibility that I'll end up having to give this to somebody else because I didn't know if it would work for me. So the first journal that I got was the this is the traveler journal, and it's A5 format. I believe I should have checked this before I started recording. But anyway, I really wanted to use this for my Substack needs because that was one area where the notebooks were just exploding. So you can reference my older video, which I will figure out how to link. But just like really quickly, the way that I use this notebook is um, with 3 inserts. So I have the thicker one at the beginning, which is my book journal. And this is just a lined notebook placed inside the elastics where I just take notes on what I'm reading. All right, that's the first one. The second notebook in this stack is my TBR, and this is just a blank page, smaller. I don't know if you guys can see. I'm having a hard time deciding how to show them, but um, it's just a very small notebook. I think it's fine for the purposes of the TBR. This is where I just keep a running list of authors and books I want to read. And different pages look a little bit differently. Sometimes I'll just add a sticky from somewhere else. This is a fairly new way for me to keep a list of what I want to read, so I'm just experimenting still with it. And then the third notebook in the same journal, I'll give you an update on why it looks the way that it does, but that's my books that I read, so I just keep them month to month here. Okay, the reason why it looks this way is because I went camping and took the journal with me, and I spilled a cooler on top of my book bag. So several books got damaged. But anyway, so this is the first one. And this was going so well, actually. Oh, the charm that I added is a Clairvy charm. It's a little daisy. I don't know if you guys can see it, that I had from before. So this was the book journal, the first Paper Republic journal that I started keeping. And I noticed that I was looking for excuses to just like pick it up and write in it. It was just such a pleasurable experience having this notebook that I ended up buying a second one. And I agonized over that second one for a while because I knew how I wanted to use it. I was just really craving like a daily Paper Republic journal I could use. And that I knew that the way to do that is to just, use a Paper Republic notebook for a planner and for like my daily notes, but I already had notebooks like that. So I agonized quite a bit over it. I didn't want to waste the planner that I already had. But at the end, I just couldn't help myself. So I decided to add a second notebook to this family. So this one is identical in size. It's still the A5. It's just black in color. This color here is chestnut, I believe. And this one came with like the orange cord. This one comes with a red. And this time, because I knew that I'd love it and use it, I have my name engraved on it. It's so cool. I really love it. And because I was wanting to use this so much, I decided to make this like my daily notebook. So in here, I have a 2025 planner and a thin kind of catch-all notebook, so that, if I'm just like out and about or at my office, I can use these pages to take notes, make lists, whatever, doesn't matter. This is the one notebook that I take with me when I leave the house. Okay. And have just recently added a third notebook, which I'm going to talk to you about in just a bit. All right. So here's the verdict. For me, this is a no-brainer. It just works perfectly for me. And I will tell you why. If you are the kind of person who is just, you look around your desk and there's just like notebooks everywhere, I think that this system is for you. If you look at my previous video, I have 3 distinct areas of my life where I note take. I have my work life, I have my Substack life, and then I have my personal life. So over the years, I had tried to just like keep a minimal setup, just one notebook, write everything in it, and toss it when I'm done. But what I was finding out was that like I was writing things down in one notebook, then I would run out of pages, need to move on to the next notebook, but there were things in the previous one that I wanted to keep. And was just kind of like driving myself crazy, like rewriting things from like the old book to the new one, and then just over and over and over again. This system allows me to switch out notebooks in the same set without having to replace the whole set, if that makes sense. So for example, the book stuff is the most, I think, like the clearest example that I can give you of that. So, I have my TBR list, I have my book journal, I have my TBR list, and I have the list, like my book log essentially of what I've completed reading. So because I book journal essentially about every single book that I read, and I read a lot, I'm almost at the end of my first book journal in this system. And when I finish it, I'll just take this notebook out and I will replace it with a new one. At the same time, my TBR, even though I'm constantly adding names and titles to it, it doesn't fill in as fast. And same thing applies to my book log, where I'm just recording the books as I finish reading them. It's just that you don't read that fast, that like you need to replace that notebook all the time. But I still like to have those lists separate. So this works perfectly for me for that reason. Now for this one, this is kind of the same. Like the planner stays the same, but my notebook where I take notes and just write lists and all of that, that gets filled in pretty fast, but I don't need to keep it. I don't need to carry that around because, I've scratched out my to-do list, or I've, checked off the, groceries, whatever it is. Like, it's just not that important. It's like stuff I like to write down on paper, but it's not that important to keep. So that notebook can get out when I'm done with it, replaced with something else. If your brain works that way, I think you'd really enjoy this. If you're the kind of person who's like, I would drive myself crazy if I have more than one notebook, I can barely keep one journal going, don't don't buy this, because there's like plenty of other notebooks, like a single notebook that is high quality that you can use instead. The other thing that I would say is, if you care about paper quality, and if you care about page design, and I understand that like everybody likes a nice notebook, but not everybody really cares that much about the high quality of the paper. If you care about paper, I think you'd like this. I use the original inserts with the journals, and this paper is really nice. First of all, what I really like is the notebook falls flat like this. Um, so you don't need to apply pressure to write on it. It's just naturally kind of like opens up and falls neatly. Um, I love that, especially for my planner, because like during the day I just have let me show you like a page that I'm currently on. This is my current week in the planner, and I just kind of have it open on my desk, and I'm just checking things off as I get them done. I love having that. The other thing that I really love about this is just, this is a very minimal notebook, but there's just attention to detail in how those pages are designed and laid out that I really appreciate. So um, all of what I'm saying now about page design mostly applies to the planner, because the rest of them are simple notebooks. But okay, so this is like the weekly layout, very simple and straightforward. This is where I put my stuff in, and this is where I take notes. And it's a dot grid, and they have these like little notches. I don't know if you guys can see them, that mark the middle of the page. And I love that. I love that, because then I can draw my line in the middle, and I write my work and my personal to-dos on each side of the page. I don't know if you care, but to me, this kind of thing is everything. So if you appreciate this type of nitty-gritty distinction on how pages are made, I think you'd really like this. I will say that there's one thing I don't like about the page layouts here on this planner, and that's for the monthly layout. You can see that they have like January, February, and then the dates, but they don't have the days of the week. So sometimes when I'm marking things down on this layout, I just have to kind of go back and reference what day of the week they fall on. And then finally, I think that if you, this is going to sound kind of weird, but like if you enjoy watching things age, and you don't mind, imperfection, I think you'd really like this. The leather really changes with time. I've only had these for 3 months, but you can see that like the chestnut color has started to darken. I put hand lotion on my hands every day, all the time. And I can tell that some of the greasiness is like seeping into this leather, so it's staining it here and there. The corners are starting to kind of curve in around the notebooks. Do you see that? And then look at the back. I don't know why and how I'm doing this, but all of these like little notches, it's almost like little cuts in this leather are starting to form. And I think it's happening when I just like, I'm kind of a brute about how I load up my purse for work and I just like toss things in it. I think that like that's how this is happening. Um, and I know that some people would be really bothered by this. Um, just for contrast, this is a Moleskine journal that I've had for quite a while, and it looks essentially brand new. So if you're the kind of person who just prefers that kind of like neat, crisp look and feel, maybe this is more something like this is more appropriate for you. But if you don't mind your objects kind of showing signs of wear, you can see this like in my, why am I just like really greasy and a dirty person? I don't think I am. I think it's just the leather shows this kind of handling and wear. um I personally like this a lot. I also have seen that I think maybe Paper Republic makes their own leather care balm, which I'm curious to play with at some point and just like refinish, kind of like season the covers, but I just haven't had a chance to do that just yet. So something I wanted to show you. So as I said earlier, the my camping cooler spilled on the journal, and this is why. So the leather, I don't know how they colored the leather, but some of the leather coloring kind of seeped into the journal itself, and um, did it created some staining that I'm trying to process. Honestly, I don't care so much about the journal here, about the book journaling part of it, but it really damaged my TBR notebook. This is my January list, and this is because I used the fountain pen to write these books down, and it just, uh, did not fare very well. This is this page too. So part of me is like, okay, like you need to rewrite these lists again. But there's also part of me that's like, I don't know, this is kind of cool. I can still read, I can still kind of make out what the titles of the books are. And I think it's charming. So I think I'm just going to keep going until I fill this book. And then maybe I'll change it or I'll just replace it. I can't quite decide. All right. So if if you, as I said, if you are the type of person who prefers like a really perfect, crisp kind of system, I don't think that this will work for you, because naturally, just by, handling it so much, adding and, taking out notebooks and just, it's meant to be used over period, like a long period of time. Some people have had them for years. I think it's meant for people who appreciate that patina, that wear, the signs of wear. Just be warned, because it's expensive. I think just keep that in mind and like kind of think on it before you decide. The last notebook that I wanted to show you before I go is this teeny tiny one that I got. And I don't, this is like kind of like a passport size, and it comes with a little pocket insert. And then this is just a regular lined notebook that I've put inside it. I got it at the same time when I got this one. And I haven't figured out a really good way to use it. Honestly, I don't remember what I was thinking when I did purchase it. But now I'm thinking that maybe I will try using it as a travel journal when I go to Europe in a couple of weeks. My other option for travel would be, I think, to consolidate, maybe take the planner out because I don't have that much going on while I'm away, and then just insert like my book journal in here and keep notes. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, like, maybe I can just like play with the inserts and have like a personal journal going on and like a book notebook, or maybe just like take this and call this my travel notebook and only use it when I travel. So if you have any tips or suggestions, I'd be very curious to hear them. And please let me know if you have any questions about this. Third this was a 3 month check-in with Paper Republic, and I think I'm gonna do another one in another 3 months. So at that point, if I'm still using it, it's gonna be 6 months. And I think I will have more kind of ideas and insight on like who it's for and who maybe it's not best for. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you guys are doing well.